This is Chicago's very own WGN News.
As contract talks between CTU and CPS remain ongoing and far apart, today the CTU says the movements being made are their own, while the CPS CEO says overextending the district will lead to layoffs and furloughs that no one wants. There are some ripple effects outside of schools, though. Tom Gimbel joins me now with the effect this may have on people wanting to move here, right?
Ripple effects that people don't realize. They think it's either you're on the side of the teachers getting more money and getting the demands that they want, or if you're anti that, then you're just anti-teachers and live with the consequences. But there's really a huge impact, Mike, on the business community that no one's really talking about.
Don't you think the mayor would know that?
I think listen, I can project what I think, but everybody should realize that there's consequences to your actions. And when there's public arguing and something is prolonged in negotiations, outsiders don't know what's going on. So when you have companies that are contemplating what city to move to, and they see that there's all this chaos with a mayor who wants to fire the CEO of the public school systems, who has text showing that he lied about when he was going to do it, about the board of the CPS and whether they're on the side of the unions or not. It's this aura of chaos that makes people wonder, is this where I want to raise my family? Do I want my kids to go to school in this city? Is this a good place to do business if I can't attract workers who want to send their kids to public schools? Not everyone has $40,000, $50,000 a year to send their kids to private school.
Now, the city's had issues before. Under Mayor Emanuel, there was a strike. Mayor Lightfoot, there was a strike. How did that affect business?
Well, listen, big city that has tens of thousands of teachers, there's always going to be labor challenges. What we haven't had before is all of this at the same time. It's the perfect center of the Venn diagram, Micah. And what that really comes down to is the failed attempt and then successful attempt to fire the CEO. Having the public elect CPS board officials who are not on board with what the mayor wants to do. And you have this conflict and it's not going away. And at the same time, there's a $500 million shortfall while the teachers union is asking for more money. And so you get people, again, we're talking about business people looking at this, who look at dollars and cents, profits and loss, and they're looking and saying, if this is how the city is running things from the school situation, how is it going to be beneficial for my company? And that's a negative impact on the city so far beyond CPS that affects tax dollars, which directly affects how much money the CPS has.
So how quickly does this need to be rectified so it doesn't make that much of a ripple effect?
About 4 months ago. I mean, I think we're in a real situation. I was talking to the CEO of a company that's looking to do a spinoff of their company and have a whole separate group. And they're saying, do I want to have that in Chicago or should I spin that off? I can do it in Northwest Indiana. People can commute there. There's free parking at the facilities there. And I could do that. It might be a little bit longer, but I don't have to deal with any of these issues. And I can attract workers from Indiana and I can attract workers from Chicago. And I don't have to deal in this business climate that they don't seem to care about anybody. And that was and when I said, what do you mean anybody? They said, well, obviously the residents or the students, but which it really affects the business climate. And if we don't have a healthy business climate, if we take that for granted, then you don't have people coming to work at those companies, which is less tax dollars, which is less dollars for CPS. And you don't have kids who go to the schools to begin with.
Tom Gimbel, always good information, and that is food for thought for sure. Thank you, sir.
Did you get a new hairstyle, Mike? Am I seeing something different?
Yes, do you like it?
You look fabulous.
Thank you.
New year, new you.
That's
I
right.
like it.
Bye.